The story starts at the Gilbert Royal Crawford Academy of Magic, where the homeroom teacher, Rina Reztia, announces the start of one-on-one mock battles in a practical format. She states that the results will determine class assignments and tells the students not to hold back. She then commands both students to step forward onto the field. Ichinose Shion, a 17-year-old student from Class C, stands ready and says that it has been a long time since his last mock battle. Across from him, his opponent prepares his hands for the fight. Shion smiles and declares that he will enjoy the match. Teacher Rina watches the field in silence. The command to begin is given. Both students immediately generate magic circles from their hands, and Shion releases a wind blade spell. Their two magic forces clash directly in the center of the arena, creating a large explosion of energy between the opponents. The opponent observes that their wind power is equal. He decides to alter his approach and prepares another magic circle. The opponent is surprised when Shion instantly casts 3 fireballs toward him. He summons a flame vortex shield to defend himself, noting that Shion is quickly casting beginner spells. Shion then counters by casting a water ball spell. The water ball strikes the flame shield and generates a large cloud of steam. The opponent realizes that the steam is completely blocking his vision. At this point he still has no idea Shion already planned his next move, so take a moment and subscribe now, because this fight gets way more insane from here. The opponent casts a gust spell to clear away the blocking steam. As the air clears, he observes that Shion is already preparing to cast his next spell. The opponent stops and realizes something is wrong because a magic circle is not appearing from Shion's extended hands. He considers the possibility that Shion has completely run out of mana. The guy suddenly realizes that Shion's hand positioning was a bluff as a magic circle forms beneath Shion's feet instead. Shion unleashes his attack, announcing the lightning Sturman spell. Bolts of lightning surge across the ground from Shion directly toward the guy. The opponent urgently calls forth an earth wall to block the oncoming lightning in time. He manages to block the strike but notes that his defensive spell felt unusually slow to activate. The guy looks up and sees that Shion has launched another set of fireballs toward him. He prepares a new magic circle and states that Shion cannot win the match by using only beginner spells. The opponent unleashes a water vortex storm spell to overpower the oncoming fire. Shion looks ahead as the massive wave of water surges across the arena floor toward him. The guy becomes confused when he notices that Shion has suddenly cancelled his active magic spell. The heavy wave of water hits Shion directly and sweeps him across the battlefield. The water settles across the arena floor, leaving Shion sitting down while the teacher stands safely inside a magical shield. Shion raises his hand to concede the match, and teacher Rina announces that Theodore is the winner. As Shion walks away drying his hair, teacher Rina observes him and reflects that she has known him for 3 years but something about him always feels strange. She examines a student evaluation document showing that Ichinose Shion holds a C-rank across most magic attributes, concluding that his overall class placement is an accurate reflection of his grades. Teacher Rina reviews the events of the battle, observing that Shion maintained total composure and intentionally delayed his spell activation. She notes that he appeared to hold a final trump card at the end of the match but chose to let himself be defeated instead. She continues to analyze Shion, considering the possibility that he is intentionally concealing his true magical capabilities. Shion realizes with complete certainty that the teacher is suspecting him of hiding his true strength. While walking, Shion reflects on the success of his strategy, noting that pretending to have a hidden countermeasure at the end of the match while deliberately choosing not to use it was highly effective. Nearby students observe him with expressions of shock. Shion admits to himself that in reality, he was simply completely helpless against his opponent's final attack. While walking down the hallway, Shion overhears students asking Theodore about his actual experience fighting against Shion. Theodore replies to his classmates, stating that Shion's raw magic power was not particularly impressive. Theodore explains further that Shion used his magic very cleverly, which might make him the strongest student in the class during real combat. Upon hearing this praise, Shion feels an immense sense of personal satisfaction. In the dressing room, a classmate asks Theodore if his words are true, pointing out that Shion is from a merchant family and stating that a former B-class student like Theodore should not be weaker. Theodore answers that he was also curious and questioned Shion right after the fight. Theodore remembers gripping Shion's hand in a post-match handshake as both boys expressed their mutual gratitude. In his memory of the arena, he walks up to Shion, who is wiping away water with a towel, and says that Shion was preparing an action at the end but chose to stop it. Theodore continues his statement, voicing his belief that Shion was holding back and did not use his full strength. Shion looks back with a slight smile and responds that Theodore is overestimating him, asserting that the attack was indeed his maximum power. Returning to the present conversation, Theodore tells his companion that despite Shion's denial, he is sure the boy is concealing his real capacity. Just outside the doorway, Shion walks away with a smile as he hears the classmate voice his disbelief inside the room. The view shifts to the grand exterior courtyard of the student dormitory building. Our boy walks down an interior hallway and turns a doorknob to enter a room as the narration confirms his identity. Shion drops flat onto the floor of his room. The narrative confirms that he possesses absolutely zero hidden power. Shion slumps over as his spirit seemingly escapes his mouth. He realizes that he drank too much water during the match and that the physical impact was worse than he originally thought. The narrative highlights that he was born into a merchant family, his magical abilities are strictly SSS-Rank, and his actual talent as a mage is 0. During his childhood, young Shion spent his time surrounded by bookshelves. He deeply admired the legendary mages featured in old heroic tales. Our boy practiced constantly by copying detailed magic circles with a quill and straining his hands forward to manifest energy, continuing to work hard without stopping. At the age of 14, during his most impressionable years, Shion became heavily influenced by various stories of powerful warriors and epic battles. Triggered by a specific incident during those school years, Shion developed a deep behavioral change. From that moment on, Shion became completely delusional. He misinterprets the regular comments of his peers, like Theodore, as proof that they suspect him of hiding his true abilities. Shion strikes a dramatic pose in his academy uniform and proudly declares to himself that he is the strongest mage. While chatting and laughing normally with his classmates outside, Shion genuinely believes that he is a supreme SSS rank mage equal to a great hero from the past, and that he is successfully hiding this identity from everyone. He continues his academy life while taking pleasure in his personal delusion. A knock sounds at the door as a visitor calls out to Shion to check if he is there before announcing her entry, and he replies that he is inside. The visitor entering the room is Yuffie, who is Shion's childhood friend and the top-ranked student at the academy. Shion observes that Yuffie is an S-rank mage, noting to himself that this level of power is expected of his friend. Yuffie looks at him with confusion and states that she does not know who he is explaining these things to. Yuffie explains that she heard about his mock battle and hands him a recovery potion, and Shion offers his regular thanks. Yuffie tells him not to overdo things because he is still a C-rank student, and Shion agrees that he is definitely a C-rank while keeping a hidden thought to himself. Our boy strikes a dramatic pose and tells Yuffie that even she cannot measure the true power sleeping within him because his possibilities are infinite. Shion narrows his eyes and tells Yuffie to be ready because he will show her his power soon enough. Yuffie just smiles at him and says okay. She says that she is looking forward to seeing his abilities. Shion strikes a dramatic pose by touching his forehead and thinks to himself that her words give him chills. Yuffie notes that he has not eaten lunch yet and invites him to eat together, and Shion agrees to go. As Shion and Yuffie walk through the academy hall, surrounding students whisper about the unusual pairing of an A-class student with a silver-haired and red-lined uniform next to a C-class student with a gray-lined uniform. Shion secretly enjoys the attention, thinking that it makes him look extraordinary, but reminds himself to act like a normal mage to hide his true power. Yuffie watches Shion in silence and notices his smirk, concluding that he is having strange thoughts again. She remembers that Shion did not use to act this way and observes that he changed into a different person about 3 years ago. In the cafeteria, a group of high-ranked students bothers a seated C-class student and insults him for being there, causing Shion and Yuffie to stop and notice the situation. An aggressive student grabs a smaller classmate by the head and demands to know why his group should have to move to the shade for a weakling. The smaller student weakly points out that there are other open seats available in the area. Watching from across the room, Yuffie remarks that the behavior is terrible because the cafeteria belongs to everyone. She looks on in silence and expresses confusion as she notices Shion suddenly walking away toward the confrontation. Our boy approaches the table, puts his arm around the smaller student named Roni, and asks if he can join him for lunch. Roni looks up and recognizes Shion with surprise. The standing students look down at the table and tell Shion not to interfere, stating that it is pathetic to see two lower-class weaklings gathering together. Shion calmly repeats the words about weaklings gathering together and asks where those specific people are located before stating that he now understands the situation. Our boy looks directly at the leader of the group and states that they are actually talking about themselves. The student grows angry, clenches his fist, and tells the annoying weakling not to talk back to him. The student violently strikes Shion while shouting at him to be quiet. Yuffie watches the sudden attack in shock and calls out Shion's name. Our boy is knocked to the floor on his hands and knees and holds up a hand to signal Yuffie to stay back. The student stands over Shion with a smirk, telling him to go rest for a while. Shion tells the guy that he might only be superior when it comes to raw magic power. He stands up and tells the aggressive student that there is a fact he should know. Shion points a thumb to his chest and states that no one can measure a person's worth by magical talent alone. Our boy walks forward across the room and notes that even people called weaklings have their own way of living and their own pride. He adds that the student does not understand this concept at all, causing the student to look nervous. Shion continues approaching, stating that this moment is a good opportunity for him to teach the student that lesson. Our boy stops very close to the student's face and invites the group to sit and eat together. He stares directly at the student with a wide grin and a strange eye pattern, telling the student to make a choice. The aggressive student and his friends scream that Shion's eyes are strange and that he is not normal, prompting the entire group to run away from the area. Shion stands alone in confusion, wondering if they ran away because of his powerful aura, and notes to himself that he only used a simple spell to change his eye color. Our boy reflects on the group of students trying to take over the cafeteria, wondering what kind of people they are, while continuing to believe that his actions showed the true aura of a SSS-Rank mage. Roni frantically apologizes to our boy for the trouble, while Yuffie rushes forward to ask if Shion is unhurt, to which Shion simply confirms that he is fine. Roni looks at the marks on his face and insists that they go to the infirmary to get his injuries properly treated. Shion smiles and dismisses the concern, stating that this minor blow is nothing compared to his usual training, which leaves Roni feeling confused about what kind of training he means. Yuffie steps in close to scold Shion for repeatedly doing dangerous things after she explicitly told him not to overdo it, leading our boy to apologize for causing worry while privately wondering if she is acting like his mother. He watches as Roni sits down at the table and bows his head in sincere gratitude. Shion states that it is completely natural to offer assistance whenever a classmate finds themselves in trouble. Yuffie turns away slightly and quietly agrees with his statement. She looks closely at Shion and reflects that this specific side of his personality has not changed at all since the old days. Shion offers to treat her to some food as an apology for making her worry, and Yuffie accepts. Roni becomes startled upon realizing that this girl is the top-ranked student at the academy. Roni excitedly asks Shion how he is connected to such a highly ranked person since regular students normally have no relation to her, and Shion casually confirms that they know each other. The friend considers how Shion defended him earlier and how closely he talks to Yuffie, leading Roni to ask Shion to explain his true identity. Our boy looks down and starts to answer Roni by stating that he is just a normal person. He smiles and gestures with his hand as he declares that he is simply a basic C-rank magic student. Shion visualizes a massive, dramatic explosion behind himself as he clenches his fist and snaps his fingers, thinking that he executed his performance perfectly. Yuffie stares at Shion in total silence while Roni happily thinks to himself that Shion is very cool even though his behavior is hard to understand. During their meal, Shion tells Yuffie to finish eating her carrots, which causes Yuffie to groan in response. Roni watches them and reflects that Yuffie is completely different from the quiet rumors he heard about her. Although Ichinose Shion is currently a third-rate mage with zero talent and a very strange personality, everything will change in the near future. Shion is destined to save the entire Magic Academy from total destruction. At the Gilbert Crawford Royal Academy of Magic, the school posts the academic exam results for the first semester covering the 5 elemental attributes. A group of students gathers around the announcement board to look at the posted rankings. The results show Yuffie Queen's Road in first place with a total score of 496 points across 5 subjects. A student calls out to Shion, who stands nearby looking at the board in deep thought. Our boy notices Yufia approaching through the crowd and greets her. Yufia asks Shion how he performed on his exams this time around. Shion responds to her by saying that his own results were not too bad. Yufia states that she did alright on her tests. She reads aloud the score breakdown for rank 145 belonging to Shion Ichinose. She notes his total score is 245 points, consisting of 99 points in water and exactly 14 points each in fire, earth, wind, and lightning. Yufia looks at our boy and asks if he chose those specific scores on purpose again. Shion holds up his hand and states that he has no idea what she means. He smiles and tells Yufia that the matching numbers are just a crazy coincidence. Yufia remains silent and looks at him with clear suspicion. Shion grins as the narrative explains that this person who seems to lack all magical talent actually has a brilliant mind that matches Yufia. He hides his true strength behind a mask of calculated mediocrity. They walk side by side down the long academy hallway while the sound of their footsteps echoes against the floor. Yufia approaches Shion in the corridor and asks if he is free the following day. Our boy expresses slight confusion before confirming that he is available. She shyly asks if Shion would like to visit a bookstore with her. Shion declines the invitation, stating that he already has plans for tomorrow and suggests doing it another time. Shion internally asks Yufia to forgive him as he maintains his serious composure. Yufia quietly acknowledges his refusal while feeling deeply disappointed. Our boy thinks about his upcoming task, telling himself that there is an enemy he needs to defeat and that his destiny is waiting. The next day arrives as a locomotive steam train travels across a large iron bridge. Shion stands inside the train car wearing a long dark coat. He folds his arms and looks out into the distance as the train carries passengers toward their destination. The scene shifts to the west district of the royal capital, displaying a dense landscape of old buildings set against a giant castle. Our boy navigates through the crowded streets of the city marketplace. He eventually leaves the crowd behind and steps into a narrow, deserted alleyway. Shion stops moving and looks over his shoulder into the empty space, stating that it is time for his hidden follower to reveal himself. He looks back and states that he came all the way to this deserted alleyway simply to provide a quiet place for his follower to die. Below him, the masked figure smiles widely. The masked follower stands behind our boy with a glowing magic circle and asks how long Shion has known about being followed. He responds that he figured it out the moment he stepped onto the magic steam train, adding that the direct approach saves him the trouble of hunting the person down. Shion looks back with a serious gaze and tells the follower that they have his gratitude. The follower responds to Shion's words and demands that Shion pay him back with his life while gathering magical energy into an outstretched hand. The guy unleashes a dark thunder arrow spell from a magic circle, sending a sharp blast of black energy directly toward Shion, who stands completely still. Shion swipes his hand forward and completely absorbs the oncoming magical strike. The masked opponent watches in shock, unable to believe that his spell was just neutralized. Our boy counters by shouting the name of his mirrored vengeance technique and fires the absorbed energy straight back at his opponent, creating a large explosion that leaves the masked attacker completely stunned. Shion stares forward with a glowing pattern in his eye and declares that the follower's luck ran out the exact moment they crossed paths with the abominable phantoms. In reality, Shion stands completely alone in the empty space, thinking about how he never gets tired of back alleys because they serve as the perfect stage. He reflects on his desire to have a real, epic battle in such a location one day while ordinary townspeople walk past the alley entrance. The narrative explains that on his days off, Shion is not the strongest mage, but instead a member of the dark guild called the Abominable Phantoms. Shion becomes the ultimate magic swordsman who lives out his own story to avenge his fallen comrades. Our boy laughs to himself, thinking that the situation is perfect. A passing child tells her mother that a strange man is laughing to himself, and the mother instructs her child not to look and to continue walking. He considers his next move, stating to himself that it is time to finish up, though it first needs a final touch while he bumps into a woman. The woman hits the ground holding her head, expressing pain from the sudden collision. She looks up with a startled expression. Our boy extends his hand to check if she is uninjured, but she pulls her hood down and tells him to mind his own business. Shion lowers his hand and states that he understands. As the woman walks away while adjusting her hood, a unique eye necklace is revealed. Shion looks onward with wide eyes, thinking to himself that the accessory is remarkably cool. She points her finger directly at Shion, telling him to watch where he is going. Our boy reacts with surprise and apologizes, stating that he will be more careful. The woman holds her hood and declares that she is a very busy person before saying goodbye. Shion watches her walk away with a flat expression, uttering a brief response. Shion watches her leave and thinks to himself that she is a snob. He suddenly stops as he realizes she might be the exact person he knows. He grins widely, stating there is only one way to find out, and prepares to activate his Phantom Realm technique, which lets him enter delusional mode. Our boy stands still as dark energy surges around his body. The dark waves spread across the ground toward the distant hooded woman. He extends his hand and casts his Abyss of Memory spell, causing dark hands to emerge from the ground around the startled woman. Shadowy tendrils bind the woman's limbs, and a dark hand pulls back her hood to reveal her face. Our boy focuses his patterned eye through a fracturing Shion to see what the woman is truly hiding. Outside a large castle room, the guards listen as a woman inside loudly proclaims that everything is dreadfully dull and she is dying of boredom. The young woman lies motionless on a bed, stating that she has succumbed to pure ennui and wants to be carried to the city and buried there. An attendant adjusting her glasses tells the woman that her words are nonsense and reminds her of a scheduled dinner with other nobles. The girl mentions a shopping trip to the city after dinner, but the attendant notes that the rest of the schedule is completely filled for the foreseeable future. The girl asks when she is allowed to go, prompting the attendant to adjust her glasses and look over the schedule. She states that the next free period will be in about a year and will last for exactly 10 minutes, causing the girl to complain that such a schedule will kill her. The attendant concedes and walks toward the door while the girl orders her to leave the room immediately so she can change her clothes. She looks back to urge her to hurry due to a lack of time, and the girl indifferently responds that she is on her way. The girl smiles secretly to herself. Outside the room, the attendant checks her pocket watch and realizes that the woman is taking too long, sparking a sudden suspicion. The attendant discovers a rope hanging from the open window and calls out to find her lady, while the girl happily escapes down the outer wall of the castle. Inside the Shion, the girl remains bound by the shadows while Shion looks on. Our boy snaps his fingers to activate his Phantasm Shatter technique and end the delusion. The illusion fades completely, returning the scene to reality as the woman safely walks past Shion in the crowded city marketplace. Our boy tracks her with his eyes and confirms to himself that she fled the castle because she was tired of her monotonous life, fitting a classic rebel princess scenario. Shion looks back and internally asks the woman to forgive him for being so blunt with her, adding that she should enjoy her freedom while it lasts. Shion is the type of person who turns even a random passerby into a main character in his delusions. Our boy suddenly realizes he got too carried away with his rebel princess routine. He tells himself that he needs to get to his intended location quickly. The scene transitions to the abandoned factory grounds located on the outskirts of the city. Shion stands on top of a building with his arms folded, looking out into the distance. He looks out over the wide cityscape from the high ledge and notes that the wind is howling. Our boy thinks to himself that the setting is perfect. He reflects that he was starting to worry because there was no breeze earlier, but the wait was worth it just to say his line. Shion continues his dramatic thoughts, noting how the wind whips through his coat against a flawless crimson sunset that reeks of blood. He prepares for his grand finale, declaring that the strong must always look down from the heights. He breaks out into loud laughter. He proclaims to himself that in this moment he is a member of the Abominable Phantoms, the strongest magic swordsman named Shion. 3 hours pass, and Shion stands as a dark silhouette under the full moon. Our boy rests his hand on his head and reflects that an anti-hero lurking beneath the pale moonlight holds a specific charm that a sunset cannot match. He stops when an off-screen voice orders someone to stop, causing Shion to realize he hears people speaking nearby. A group of 3 men pursues the previous hooded girl through the deserted area, and one pursuer calls out that she cannot escape. The girl pants heavily as she tries to run away from them. The girl catches her foot on an obstacle and falls directly onto the ground. The 3 men quickly close the distance as she lies on the floor. The 3 men confront the fallen girl, and the leader announces that it is his lucky day. He notes that he did not expect to find a lost target wearing a valuable necklace, and he states that he will take the jewelry first. The girl backs away on the ground and tells the men to wait and stay away from her. The leader lifts his hand showing dark fingernails and states that the woman will fetch a high price after he is finished with her. He reaches out toward the cornered girl and claims that she is going to show them a good time, adding that they might keep her as a pet depending on her behavior. The girl screams out in refusal while a hand moves forward in the foreground. The attackers tell her that no one is coming to save her and remind her that they are inside an abandoned factory. They instruct her to stay still and not bother resisting. Shion stands high above on a ruined wall with the full moon behind him. He greets the men and states that they have a lively party going on. The girl looks up from the ground as one of the men turns toward his voice. Our boy leaps down from the high ledge, breaking his fall by placing his hand and feet firmly against the stone ground. He stays low in a dramatic pose and places a hand near his face. He asks if he can join their festivities. An attacker points a finger directly at Shion and demands to know his identity. Our boy touches his face and asks the men if that is the information they wish to know. He stands in a dramatic pose and tells them that he is the one who is clad in shadows and hunts down the wicked, while internally celebrating how perfect his response was. The woman recognizes Shion as the person from earlier that afternoon, and Shion greets her by stating that they have met once again. The leader of the attackers states that he initially thought Shion was just an unhinged child, but realizes that the two individuals actually know each other. The bearded attacker touches his chin and states that if Shion were also a girl, they would show him the same kind of attention. Our boy places a hand on his forehead and states that if the men were cleaner and bathed occasionally, he might consider playing with them, before adding that the man has a fly on his shoulder. The attacker glares with a wide eye and calls Shion a brat, stating that the boy must be ready to head to the afterlife. Shion grins beneath a shadow and confirms that he is more than prepared. Our boy smiles and declares that he will bury all three of the attackers together inside one giant coffin. The leader reacts to Shion with shock and orders his ally to finish the boy, causing the large man to crack his knuckles and comply. Shion laughs quietly to himself as he reflects on how frequently he has dreamed of a scenario where he rescues a girl being chased by thugs. The large attacker stretches his hand forward and activates a large, glowing magic circle. Our boy looks on with a blank expression and wonders if someone with that appearance is really a mage, noting that the man's bones literally creaked when he moved. He considers how only 1 in 1,000 people possesses any magical aptitude, noting the low odds of running into a magic user in a location like this. Shion recognizes the oncoming attack as a B-rank flamethrower spell and realizes that this opponent is a mage of a much higher level than himself. Our boy begins to sweat as he suddenly faces the realization that he might actually be about to die. The narrative provides a quick recap, clarifying that this man, Shion Ichinose, is only the strongest individual inside his own imagination. In reality, Shion is a total weakling who is nothing more than a C-rank magic student. The attacker calls Shion a shrimp and states that the boy must have wet himself after seeing real magic. Our boy raises his hand and claims that he was simply admiring how deceiving appearances can be. The attacker observes that Shion at least possesses a big mouth. Our boy internally considers his options because his spell lacks the necessary time to activate, noting that a specific alternative method could save him. The attacker offers to let Shion walk away with his life if he hands over the girl without a fuss, but Shion demands that the man never compare him to disgusting filth. Shion stands in front of the girl and declares that a man would never turn and run away. He turns around and continues that a man does not run when someone right in front of him is in need of help, as the girl watches him. The attacker responds to Shion's declaration by telling him to simply die. Shion remembers his childhood dream of becoming a mage who is capable of protecting someone. He reflects that everything is completely meaningless if he is only able to protect himself. The large attacker holds his active magic and encourages his leader, who begins to order Shion's death before abruptly stopping in surprise. The leader slaps the large attacker on the head and reprimands him for failing to hold back, stating that a spell of that strength will leave their female target charbroiled, which prompts a quick apology from the large man. Our boy openly mocks the group by stating that they seem unwilling to demonstrate the magic they are proud of, while internally acknowledging that he almost actually died. The third attacker draws a weapon and asks the leader if he can handle the slicing instead. The leader grants permission and orders his subordinate to cut Shion into little pieces, causing the boy to utter a brief complaint. Shion adopts a dramatic posture and tells the attackers that they are hopelessly naive for failing to see the clear gap in their strength, causing the armed opponent to react with confusion. Our boy presses his hands together and announces that he will now show them the meaning of true magic. The attackers recoil in surprise as Shion manifests a magic circle. A wrapped sword handle forms from the energy, and Shion tightly grips it as the blade flashes into existence. He completes his spell, successfully executing an armament creation to manifest a full katana in his hand. Shion glares past the edge of the blade with a glowing eye, which causes the leader of the attackers to stare back in shock. Our boy holds the weapon over his shoulder and tells the men to step forward if they want to be the next victims of his power. The large attacker generates a magic circle over his hand and shouts that creating a weapon does not matter against his own magic. The leader cuts his ally off by shouting at the large man not to take another step. The leader presses a trembling hand against his leg and tells his ally that he has failed to see what is standing right in front of them. The large man speaks to his boss in confusion while the leader notes Shion's red eyes and exceptional magic control, stating that there is no doubt about who the boy is. He trembles and states that Shion is a member of the guild that lurks in the shadows, identifying him as one of the abominable phantoms. The leader identifies Shion as a powerful magic swordsman known as the Crimson-Eyed Fiend Blade. This revelation causes all three attackers to react with sudden shock. An explanation reveals that Shion is relying entirely on theatrical tricks. His weapon creation spell produces a highly fragile sword, his eye color is altered by a simple cosmetic magic, and the lightning around his blade possesses no actual combat power. The leader recalls rumors that anyone who crosses paths with the Fiend Blade dies after suffering severe torments. He concludes that he has no choice but to find a way to escape the situation. The brat suddenly drops to his hands and knees on the ground and begs Shion to let them go. His two companions watch his actions in complete confusion. Remaining pressed against the ground, he promises our boy that they will never come near the girl or Shion again. Shion internally thinks about how excellent his new title sounds. He then addresses the group, stating that they are begging for mercy after directly challenging the Fiend Blade. The other two attackers join their leader in bowing flat on the shattered ground. Our boy stands over the three men and states that he refuses their plea. Shion smiles with satisfaction as he decides to stop the men from leaving so that he can continue playing his dramatic character. The leader continues to plead desperately, promising that they will change their ways and live honest lives if Shion will spare them. Shion stands over the bowing leader under the night moon and states that it is true he does not know what crimes they have committed in the past. He moves his weapon downward and grips the handle, noting that judging only by what they attempted to do to the woman before his eyes, it is not a sufficient cause to kill them. Our boy looks at the kneeling man and continues that their attempt to eliminate him simply for being an obstacle changes the situation. Shion looks forward with wide eyes and states that their actions provide more than enough reason to cut them to ribbons. Our boy raises his blade next to the leader, causing the man to shout out, before Shion looks closely at him and commands them to swear to change their lives. The leader reacts by stating that they swear to it and repeats that they will make the oath. Shion turns his body away and states that if they break their promise, he will hunt them to the ends of the earth to kill them. Our boy points the blade close to the leader's eye, adding that he will find them and kill them without fail even if they hide inside the mouth of a dragon. Shion lowers his sword and concludes that he will not say it twice, stating that the instruction must be clear. The leader confirms that Shion's warning is completely clear, prompting Shion to tell the men to get lost. The three attackers shout that they are leaving immediately and quickly run away, leaving our boy standing alone in the background. Our boy wipes his forehead and sighs in relief once the men are gone. He then turns around and walks back toward the woman as she watches him. Shion smiles and extends his hand, asking the woman if she is unharmed, but she responds with absolute silence. The woman yells that she is not fine at all and asks why Shion is making a face as if he actually accomplished something. She continues to berate him, stating that he did not do anything helpful and only pulled out a sword to scare the men away. The woman turns away and crosses her arms, claiming that she could have taught those men a lesson all by herself while Shion collapses from her words. She points an accusing finger at Shion, criticizing him for making a heroic expression before calling him a member of the villain group. Our boy dismisses her claim and explains that the stories she heard are just exaggerated rumors, adding that his group's true nature is entirely different. The woman looks at Shion and states that he does not seem to be a villain. Shion poses dramatically and states that he does not care about other people's ideas of good and evil because he only follows his own rules, while internally noting that his statement was legendary. The woman looks at him flatly and states that he is not a villain but is simply out of his mind. She tells Shion that it does not matter and adds that he seems better than the other men, so she will let him have the privilege of walking her back to the city. The girl crosses her arms and continues that Shion should be grateful for the chance to walk next to someone like her. The woman gasps slightly before Shion looks back at her and accepts her request as they walk past the stone ruins under the full moon. While walking along a stone bridge at night, our boy gestures forward and notes that they are almost there, but the woman replies that she can see that for herself. As they continue across the bridge, the woman looks ahead and admits that even though Shion interfered without being asked, he still ended up helping her. The woman looks out over the landscape from the edge of the bridge and decides that she should give Shion a reward, but Shion gestures with his hand and tells her that it is not necessary. The woman turns around and points her finger at Shion, calling his refusal nonsense and declaring that her personal honor is at stake. Our boy wonders about her mention of honor and considers that she speaks as if she belongs to royalty. He then reflects that she is indeed royalty inside his own imagination. The woman claps her hands together with a smile and states that she has found a solution. Shion watches her silently from a short distance away. She holds out the pendant from her neck and offers it as an option. Our boy looks at the jewelry with wide eyes and internally notes that it looks very impressive. Shion raises his hand to decline the offer and explains that he cannot accept an item that appears to be so expensive. The woman closes her eyes and agrees, remarking that an item like this must represent a fortune to someone of his standing. She gestures proudly as she explains that valuable treasures like gold, cups, and jewels are simply lying around everywhere inside her home. The woman extends the pendant toward Shion again and tells him to sell it for money to improve his poor lifestyle. Our boy sweats and tries to explain his hesitation. She grows angry and demands to know if he thinks the pendant is dirty because it touched her neck, adding that she will kill him if that is his reason for refusing. Shion quickly raises his hands in surrender and states that he will take the item as long as she does not kill him. On the stone bridge beneath the full moon, Shion drops to one knee and holds his hands open. The woman stands before him and drops the pendant into his palms. Shion states that he will treasure the item, and the woman responds that he can do whatever he wants with it. Later, the woman notes that she has found her acquaintances, and our boy states that his task there is now finished. Shion raises his hand to the woman and bids her farewell. The woman turns back towards Shion and asks if she can ask him one final thing. Shion asks what she wants to know, and the woman asks him to reveal who he really is. Our boy looks back over his shoulder and states that his name is Shion Ichinose, a simple SSS-Rank magic student. The woman reacts with surprise, trying to process the statement that he is truly just a student. Shion confirms his identity, and the woman points at him while telling him to make sure he studies hard. Our boy waves his hand as he walks away, offering a final suggestion for her to hire a mercenary in town the next time she decides to sneak out of the castle. Shion places a hand on his forehead and internally celebrates how epic his parting line was. As he walks away, he reflects that the woman acted with so much arrogance that she almost seemed like real royalty, though he notes that such a scenario is likely impossible. Later, the attendant wearing glasses, cries out for her lady as she reaches her hands forward. She throws her arms around the hooded woman, who calls her Aileen, while the attendant warns the woman that she is going to give her a good smack. Aileen raises her fist and states that she almost literally lost her head because of the woman's actions. She asks what she would have done if a dangerous situation occurred in the city, and the woman responds that a dangerous event already took place. Aileen reacts with complete shock to the news, and the woman adds that a very strange man ended up saving her. Aileen crosses her arms and states that she does not know if that is a good thing, to which the woman answers that she supposes it is. The girl angrily states that it does not matter anymore as she walks away, prompting Aileen to follow behind while asking her lady to wait. Aileen tells the woman to have more awareness of the fact that she is the princess of this kingdom, as the narrative introduces her as Luna Lindisa Gilbert, the third princess of the Gilbert Kingdom. Luna dismisses the comment by stating that screaming in that manner will let the whole world know her identity, before adding that she is tired and wants to return home. Aileen cries out for her lady and begs the princess to wait for her as the two figures walk through the city streets beneath the full moon toward the distant castle.